Today we're looking at countries where tourists say the locals are rude. I talked to a friend about this subject and he said that every time he went to France, he ran across nothing but rude and unfriendly people. He listed a few other countries he felt were almost as bad as France, but he said France was the worst. So that got me thinking about what countries have the rudest people, and I ran a little poll on the topic, and this is what I found. Number 10. The Greeks. Greece is one of the oldest countries still going. They offer tourists ancient ruins, great islands, amazing beaches, gyros, and a steady helping of FU, go back from where you came from. Around 30 million people visit Greece every single year. The government and shop owners love that, but the locals aren't always on board with it. They have a reputation of being rude, and many visitors are charmed by the Greek hospitality in smaller towns and villages. It's essential to approach locals with respect and understanding of their customs to foster positive interactions. Keep in mind that language barriers can sometimes be mistaken for rudeness. With 30% of respondents mentioning Greece, it's worth noting that not all Greeks are rude, and cultural differences may play a role. Number 9. The Turkish. Yeah, Turkey's got kind of a reputation for having rude residents. Like Greece, they have a lot of history going on here, and Istanbul, which used to be Constantinople, played a big part in the Crusades. This is where a lot of European crusaders passed through to go to the Middle East and cause all kinds of problems. As a result, people tend to be a little rude. However, it's important to remember that not all Turkish people are rude, and many are genuinely warm and hospitable. Try to learn a few words in Turkish, as a little effort in their language can go a long way in breaking the ice. Engaging with locals in a respectful and friendly manner can result in a better experience overall. 41% of the respondents had Turkey on their list, but it's worth highlighting that each encounter can be different, and it's crucial to stay open-minded. Number 8 is Spain. Spain is a beautiful country with a rich history, fabulous architecture, delicious cuisine, and let's not forget a handful of rude locals. It's a shame that some visitors' experiences might be marred by a few unpleasant encounters. However, keep in mind that Spain is a diverse nation with distinct regions, each having its own culture and customs. Tourists visiting Madrid and Barcelona often feel the locals there aren't as friendly as they are in smaller towns and villages. Like any country, Spain has a mix of people, and it's important to be open-minded and polite when interacting with them. A little knowledge of Spanish culture and a few words in the language can make a world of difference in your interactions. 43% of respondents mentioned Spain in their list, but don't let that deter you from visiting the country and discovering the warm and friendly Spaniards who also live there. Number 7 is France. France, and Paris specifically, is notorious for having some of the rudest locals. The French are known for their high standards in fashion, food, and art, but it seems they also have a high standard when it comes to their opinions of tourists. While Paris might be a hotspot for less than friendly locals, venturing outside the city can provide a completely different experience. Smaller towns and rural areas tend to offer a more welcoming atmosphere, and a little effort to speak French can go a long way. Remember that not every French person is rude, and cultural differences can contribute to misunderstandings. Approach people with respect, and you might just find the warmth and charm France is also known for. 49% of the respondents mentioned France, but don't let that stop you from experiencing the beauty and culture the country has to offer. Number 6 is Russia. Russia is a vast country with a, let's say, interesting history. However, some travelers find Russian locals to be less than welcoming. It's crucial to remember that cultural differences and language barriers can contribute to perceived rudeness. In Russia, smiling at strangers is not the norm, and it might be seen as insincere or even suspicious. That being said, taking the time to learn about Russian customs and culture can help you better understand the people and foster more positive interactions. Despite 50% of the respondents mentioning Russia, it's essential to keep an open mind, as there are plenty of friendly and hospitable Russians who are happy to share their country with visitors. But if you're like me, a trip to Russia probably isn't at the top of your list right now. Number 5 is Germany. Germany is a country rich in history, culture, and natural beauty, making it an attractive destination for tourists from all over the world. However, some visitors perceive the locals as unfriendly or even rude. It's important to remember that cultural differences, such as the German tendency to be direct and straightforward in communication, can contribute to these perceptions. Germans value punctuality and efficiency, which might come across as brusque or dismissive to some tourists. To better understand and appreciate the local culture, try learning a few few basic phrases in German and familiarizing yourself with their customs. While 52% of respondents mentioned Germany, don't let that stop you from exploring the country and discovering the warm-hearted and helpful Germans that reside there. Number 4 is Italy. Italy is a country filled with incredible art, architecture, and culinary delights, making it a popular destination for tourists. However, some travelers have found the locals to be less than hospitable. In larger cities like Rome and Milan, tourists might encounter less patience from residents who are often busy going about their daily lives. To improve your interactions with locals, be respectful of their time and make an effort to learn a few Italian phrases. Italy's smaller towns and villages tend to be more welcoming, so don't hesitate to explore beyond the major cities. While 54% of respondents mentioned Italy, keep in mind that there are many Italians who are more than happy to share their beautiful country with visitors. Number 3, the United States. The United States is a vast and diverse country with a wide range of experiences for tourists to enjoy. However, some visitors find the locals to be rude, especially in larger cities like New York and Los Angeles. 56% of respondents mention the United States as the rudest country on earth. It's important to remember, though, that the US is made up of people from all walks of life, and your experience will vary depending on where you visit. Smaller towns and cities often provide a more welcoming atmosphere, and engaging with locals can lead to enriching experiences. Familiarize yourself with local customs and be respectful of others' personal space and time. Number 2 is the United Kingdom. The UK, with its stunning countryside, vibrant cities, and rich history, is a popular destination for tourists. However, some visitors find the locals to be rude or unwelcoming. 58% of respondents mention the United Kingdom as one of the rudest countries in the world. British humor can be dry and sarcastic, which might be misunderstood by those unfamiliar with it. To avoid negative encounters, take the time to learn about British customs and culture and try to engage with locals respectfully. While visiting, don't be afraid to strike up a conversation in a pub or at a local event. You might just make some new friends. And finally, we are at the top of our list of the top 10 rudest countries in the world, but before I reveal number 1, I have to ask you for a favor. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. So number 1 is China. China is vast with thousands of years of history and an array of breathtaking landscapes. Despite its allure, some tourists find the locals to be rude or inhospitable. 60% of respondents mention the Chinese as the rudest people on earth, making it at the top of our list. It's essential to recognize that cultural differences and language barriers can contribute to these perceptions. For example, Chinese people may speak loudly or appear to be arguing when they are merely having a lively conversation. To enhance your experience in China, try to learn about Chinese customs and traditions and be patient and respectful when communicating with locals.